So hello Moira, welcome to our Mentoring for Translators group. We had a technical problem earlier, so we promised to people and to our members to post the recording video where we can answer all of their questions as well. And so let's start with a few words about you to introduce you to people and the members in the group. Would you like us to let us know how many years are you in the business? What is your niche? Language combinations?
Yes, of course. So thank you first of all for having me, and sorry everyone about the technical issues that we had earlier. So my name is Moira Monney, like Virginia said. I've been in the industry since 2007. I started out working part-time, first as a French and English to German translator, and then also a proofreader. And I actually mostly proofread translations now because that's the part of the process that I like the most.
Okay. I don't like reading other.
No, I know most translators say they don't, but actually I do. And since now I work mostly with direct clients, I actually positioned myself as a German to English boutique translation agency more so than a translator. So I call myself a translation consultant. And I work with a team of colleagues, of native translators, and we
you assign
work mostly in...
It's also to other translators, you delegate, you assign, you outsource.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's great. No.
Yes,
You're the right person.
So we work mostly in marketing.
Okay, that's great. And how many people are in the team?
So I regularly work with... I'd say 4 or 5, but then depending, so sometimes we also get requests into French or into German, of course, and then there are some more people that I work with.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will have questions on that, and maybe when they watch the recording, we can answer their questions if they come up later in the recording in the group.
Sure, in the comments,
yeah, in the comments section. So, it's fascinating for me. The Financial Success Summit is coming next week. You also created the first Marketing Success Summit last year where I was a speaker. Thank you so much for inviting me again for the second time.
Thank you for taking part.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for that. And maybe you could tell us, I have so many questions, but we could focus on those questions as well. Why Financial Success Summit?
So, yes, I'm really excited that it's already going live next week. So finances, because, well, first of all, the Success Summits, because I have shiny object syndrome. I need to be working on something new, something, I don't know, exciting every now and again, on top of the projects that I usually deal with. And so I thought it would be a good thing to create this for the industry. And yeah, I was just interested in how the whole summit thing would work. And so that's why I decided to create that. And finances, because I'm personally interested in everything to do with money. And I think it's such an important topic. And I also think, or I hear a lot of translators refer to themselves as number illiterate. And I think that's such a shame, because money is an important part of business and also of our personal lives, of course. And so, yeah, I really wanted us to, I don't know, break this taboo a little bit and talk about money and finances.
I was going to use the same word, taboo. I think it's a topic that we don't like, or we're supposed not to discuss about. So not many people, they do not disclose their rates, for example. They do not, I don't understand the reason why behind that, maybe the competition, but by disclosing such information, I don't think that you have a problem with the competition, or you have a problem with your business. But I think that is going to be pioneer. Again, you're going to be pioneer, because I haven't seen any such events happen before in the past, especially for the finance, maybe for the marketing, yes, but not in the form of a summit and an online summit and a free event, and having so many people to interview the big names. And I don't refer to my name because I think I'm the least known from the people that you are having.
You're not.
yeah. Because I also asked you when I will be able to watch it myself, because I would be very much interested also. So Do you think, okay, some questions might be already answered, but why not to refer to them as well? Who is it for, the summit? Who is it for? Is it for a newbie? Is it for someone that is already experienced? Or is it someone who is like in a hustle in their career, they would like to get out of a, what do you think?
So I created it with translators in mind who already have an established business. So I would say maybe 2 to 3 years into your business, or even more so if you're still sometimes struggling with feast or famine, like I know a lot of us do. I think then it's helpful. If you're a complete newbie, I think you would probably need to focus on your marketing efforts first. So I think it's really for those of us who already have enough work, if you like, and we're not maybe making the income that we'd like, or like I said, we have cash flow issues every now and again, or something like that. That's the sort of thing that we want to address there.
The main problem that I have with my mentees, we discuss, is that they do not have a stable income that's mentioned right now, or they might have, there are some periods in their career that they do not have much work, or their income is not that stable. So I think that most of the translators, there is some time in their career that they face such problems. I don't see any translator who never have faced any such a problem, either on a workflow or a stability in their income. But I would suggest also newbies to watch it, because they can't predict the future somehow. They can't see the problems that they might face in the future as well. Okay, I see that they have to focus, as you say, on their marketing efforts, and they have to become established somehow, 1, 2 or 3 years in their career. But why not to broaden our minds and to see what happens in the more experienced translators as well? And also the first day, I think it could be addressed to newbies as well, because I'm talking about goal setting. So why not? Goal setting, I think, is an issue that someone addressed.
Yes.
What's your opinion?
Oh yes, I agree. So of course, if you're a newbie, you will find tips that you can implement straight away too. And like you said, I think it makes sense also at the beginning of your career to broaden your mind. So especially on the first day, like you said, we've got the goal setting session, and then also people talk about money mindset and what drives our financial decisions, and it's very fascinating stuff. So I think that's something that applies to everyone, of course.
Yes, that's my opinion as well. So why should someone attend? Might be the most important takeaway of this summit?
So yes, that's a difficult question. I find, just because it depends on your individual situation and what you're struggling with the most. And so it would have actually been nice to be able to ask everyone now what their biggest money hurdle is, and see their comments so that we can then address those. But so for me, the biggest takeaway was probably how important it is to really know your numbers. And that's probably not new information, but if you ask someone what you earn, a lot of translators are not able to answer. And I think we really need to know how much we make on a monthly and also on an annual basis, and what our expenses are. I think that's so crucial, and that's really just the starting point then, in order to be able to address whatever issues we face.
And it doesn't apply only to translators as well. I think that any freelancer, no matter the kind of freelancer you are, they face the same problems, I think. And also the numbers, we have the problem with numbers. I include myself there as well, because I don't really like numbers, and I used to hide myself from the numbers. And when I realized that when I don't hide myself anymore from the numbers, and I do, I'm aware of the numbers and what I'm doing in my business in respect of income, as you say also. That was the point when everything started coming up in my career, when I realized that I have to know about numbers, and I have to be aware what I'm doing here in respect of numbers. Then I think that was the point when everything started getting a growing path and course in my career. So is it
Yes.
really free, this event? Because a lot of people are asking that. Is it really?
I know. There was a lot of discussion about this already last time as well, I think, in the different forums. So yes, the event is completely free. You'll have access to the videos for 24 hours each. So each day you'll have 3 or 4 videos that you'll have access to for free for 24 hours. And then the videos will be locked and they will be accessible to paid viewers only. So, or to paying viewers, sorry. So there is a version where you get lifetime access and you get the audio sessions as well, and you get action guides to help you implement everything. And then we've got different bonuses, and that's the paid version. But the event as such, if you really just want to attend for free and take advantage of the sessions for 24 hours, then that's possible.
So that was my next question. If someone, because most of my mentees or people coming to me, they're asking me, I have been very busy. I have so many working projects right now, and next week is full of projects for me, and I'm not pretty sure if I will be able to attend most of them. So what's the answer here?
So there, the answer is then you can upgrade to the professional package, and I'm sure you will post the link for people to do so. And then you have access to the videos, and you actually get 2 additional videos that are only for those who upgrade to the professional package. So those are Negotiate and Raise Your Rates Without Scaring Away Clients with Martina Russo.
Now this is only for the paid members.
Yes, that's only for
great
the
to know.
members.
I didn't know. So please let us know. It's only the one. This is only for paid members. Anything else that it's only for paid members?
Yes, there is another session on cash flow management and how to ditch feast or famine. That's with me, and that's in presentation form, and that's also for paying members only. But those are, like I said, additional videos, so you still have access to 4 other videos for free on those same days. I just wanted to make it special this time for the paying members.
Yeah, great. And I think this time is also one more day. I think last, why is that?
That's because, so last time we had 3 days with 5 sessions each, and people said that they weren't able to catch everything. And so I thought, okay, so this time, and also in terms of the subjects, it actually made sense because we had so many topics for growing our income, growing our money. And so I decided to split those sessions into 2 days. And so we've got 8 training videos, I believe, on that topic, and then there's 4 on keeping your money, like budgeting, looking at your expenses and things like that. And then on the 3rd day you have 3 videos on investing, so growing our income.
Great. That's so great. I don't think someone will keep it only for the free version, but if I was like, I would go for the paid, for to keep this information and to be able to watch it like over and over again when it's needed.
Yes,
so different the topics and so
yes,
much
definitely.
information there. So for the paid members, they have full access to all of the summit, all of the sessions. They have also audio and video.
Yes.
And the bonuses.
Yeah.
And the extra, an interview with Martina Russo and your presentation.
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to be a presentation, yours, because all of the others are in a type of interview. In the form of
yes, of course. So there's a little part where I'm on camera too, but honestly, it felt very weird to just record myself. That's and so, yeah, I decided to go with the presentation. And also in terms of the topic, it actually made more sense. So the other session that I do, which is available to everyone, that's how to set your rates, where we go into actual calculations. It actually makes more sense to see some of the numbers. So I'm doing that in presentation style too.
Have you, as a professional translator, attended any course, or have you taken any CPD regarding finances and the topic that you are presenting, or is it based on your professional personal experience?
So it's both. So I like attending CPDs. I did several ones that are more so for I would say general business owners, on freelancers in general, not just translators. And then I also attended Marketing to Direct Clients by Corinne McKay. And I did that in 2017. And yeah, that's the one translation specific CPD that I did. And the rest is based on my own experience and articles that I read and things like that.
Yeah, but
so
you have attended for finances, specifically for businesses and freelancers,
yes.
Irrelevant to translation.
Relevant to translation, yes.
Yeah.
So relevant to any freelance business, really. So, for example, I know that at least when starting out, a lot of translators just have their personal account, and that's one of the first things that I would change. So you have your personal account and your business account, and then you look at your business and personal finances separately. And the one tip that really made a huge difference for me, that I learned from one of the finance CPDs that I attended, was to pay myself a salary. And I didn't do that before.
At what point of your career did you manage to implement such advice?
It was a few years into my business, maybe 4 or 5. Honestly, because before, when I had a good month, I spent more, and when I had a less good month, then I spent less,
Yeah, most of us, I think.
And I know, a lot of people do that, but it's very, so it can be very stressful, and it keeps you trapped in this feast or famine cycle.
Yeah, it needs a lot of discipline, I guess, and some kind of knowledge about money.
Yeah, discipline. So, yes, probably. I would consider myself a fairly disciplined person anyway, but not when it comes to money, because I'm more of a spender than a saver. So I had to really execute my discipline there. I think it's more of a principle, and once you apply it, it gets easier. It's more. The hard part is more making the start. Same with investing, because I think when you talk about investments to someone, it seems like a scary topic for a lot of us, and I know it was to me. And I think the important thing there is just get started with a tiny little, take one little tiny step, and then it'll grow from there.
Yeah, but referring to investment, a lot of people, they have different things in mind. What would be investment in the real estate, or just in the next year CPD program? So it differs what people refer to investment. And what are you referring to when you say investment?
Good. That's a good one, actually. So thanks for bringing that up. Of course, investing in yourself is also an investment, and it's probably one of the best investments that you can make, because your knowledge, your money can, sadly sometimes go away in the market. And so investing in yourself really makes sense, because that's knowledge that you will keep and no one can take that from you. But when I was just saying investing now, I meant investing in shares of companies or in funds or things like that. So investing money in the market.
I would also suggest to people to do that if they're aware of the market, not just investing, because here in Greece we had a lot of disasters regarding investing in, for example, in shares. Companies some years ago, so it really needs some knowledge in terms of the market and how the market works.
Yes, but yes, I agree. No, I was just going to say I agree, but I also think that people tend to make it more complicated than it needs to be, and that's again, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have the summit, so that we can at least be aware of the different options that we have and get some basic knowledge. So there's one session actually that's called Investing for Beginners, with a friend of mine who agreed to do this. He's an investment banker.
That's great.
And
that's great.
Yes, and he goes into the details of how to invest in the company equity or company debt, and it's explained in very easy to follow words, so I think that was very good.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know, I didn't have noticed that it's going to be investing in such an aspect. So that's great to
Also,
know.
yeah.
And also, I also advise, yes, not to make things complicated, but also to trust the right people, because when we hear about investing, we know so many cases that things didn't work out the way we had in mind.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to mention the takeaway. I've been contacted by many people telling me that they found very, very interesting that someone mentions that they can charge 40 cents. I am not going to disclose who is saying that, but people to go and watch it. But I was so surprised that they were coming to me, and I found that there is such a mention that there is that translator who charge 40 cents per word. So
yeah.
We're talking about money, and what Moira just said, it's the truth that people, they're going to disclose what they charge, how they do it, how they negotiate their rates, or how they make their rates higher. So it's very personal, the most important takeaway. But for me, having people disclosing their rates and being in such a way inspiration to other people, because it's not just only disclosing your rates or how you do it, it's the way you inspire other people that they can do it. And if it's not 40 cents, it can be higher than 4 or 3 cents. That in some countries we hear about such rates.
Yes, we have to wrap this in a little disclaimer. Because I also had people saying that they are not able to disclose rates, especially from the US. And I didn't ask everyone for their rates. There was one particular session where the person actually just continued
it's the most important takeaway. I can tell you.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I have been contacted by people telling me, I found out that from
wow.
So isn't that wow?
That's awesome.
That's the most important. It's not the number, the most important.
No, it's the inspiration, right?
Yeah. It's inspiration, exactly. That you can motivate people, that they can do better. And when you motivate other colleagues to do better, you somehow help the whole profession to grow. A whole, you know what I mean?
That's the whole purpose of the conference. Yes,
that's
of course.
Purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning that too. So if you were going to give one tip to people to improve their financial situation, I know you gave 2, but if it was to be 1, is it something that you already mentioned, something else that you would like to add to improve their financial situation? One good tip.
So if there's just one tip, then I would say know your numbers. So even if you're scared of numbers, you don't like maths. I mean, that's the same for me. I don't really like maths, but you know what? Now I like looking at my income and everything that is possible. And so really, even if your financial situation is none too rosy right now, do make the effort of going through last year's income, maybe even look at it by client or by project type. If you do, I don't know, for example, translation and subtitling, look at what brought how much, and maybe how profitable the work was for you in terms of the hours that you spent on it. And then also look at your expenses. And for all of those topics, there are also some great sessions in the summit to help you do that. And I think that's really the starting point to improve your...
But sometimes we do not know where to start because we're so confused or not willing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then take out your bank statements for 2019 and go through them. And maybe if you can in Excel, if you're like the pen and paper type of person, then do that with a calculator and just go through it. I think the important thing is that you start looking at your numbers.
Okay. So if we have some time more, would you like to go through to 3 or 4 questions that people are making to you regarding finances? Would you like to discuss that as well? So
yeah, sure. Let's do that. Here. We'll do that together, right?
Yeah. Would you like me to answer as well? I have no problem.
Yeah, well, of course, I think it's good if we both chip in.
Okay, what should I charge? What should I charge? I see here that most of the people coming to you, they ask, what should I charge? And I also get such a question also with my mentees. We discuss finances, of course.
Yeah. What should I charge is such a personal question. I think it really depends on your your individual situation, also probably the country you live in, and your expenses. So right now, for example, I'm the sole breadwinner for a family of 3, and so my the way I calculate my rates is very different to what I did 5 years ago. So I think it really depends on, like I said, your situation. But then so first of all, I would like to then refer people to the presentation on how to set your rates. I think it's figure out how much to charge on Tuesday, 21st. But just to give you some pointers, you need to know how much you need in terms of your personal expenses in order to cover those. That would be your net income. And then, of course, add in some fun money and all of that, depending on where you are in your business journey. And then also add your taxes, your health insurance, your pension contributions, and all of that. That would make then your gross salary. And I actually like to do this with annual figures, because I think if you calculate it on a monthly basis, then it's very easy to forget insurance premiums, for example, that you only pay once a year and things like that. So I think it gets you in the habit of not looking at your finances month by month. And that in turn also then helps with feast or famine again.
But is it then, yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm. Please continue.
So yeah, and then I think the important thing is that you look at how many hours you work, and there you consider only the billable hours, because you know your admin, the time that you spend on admin work or marketing and things like that is not something that you can charge for, but of course it's still working time. And so that's something that you wouldn't consider when looking at or when calculating your target rates, like your hourly rate, and then from there how much you can charge per word, or you should charge per word. And then if you see that there's a big difference, of course, if you charge I don't know, 8 cents right now and you should be charging 14, then that then goes back to your marketing. And yes. So yeah, like I said, it's a very huge question. What should I charge?
Yeah, and also that it's a great advice that you just gave, and it's very similar to what I give to my mentees. But the second question I get is when it comes to agencies, doesn't work like that, because most of the times my rates are not yet accepted. That's the answer.
Yeah, but that, I think that's a mindset issue there. Of course, if you currently work at a low rate, you think that that's all the market will bear. And actually, I recently saw a comment on Facebook by someone saying that the established market rate for, I think it was German to English, is 8 cents a word. And I just posted underneath that, and I said I wouldn't be able to survive on that. And so that's why I said also it's very individual, but don't assume, and I think that's the important thing, don't assume that the market will only pay what you currently charge. There's always people who pay more.
Yeah, and also what does market mean? Because if there are specific agencies where the rates are very flat and very specific as well, there are not many things that you can do regarding that. But if you're addressing direct clients, yes, then someone can follow all of the advice that you just mentioned, the practice that you just described already. But when it comes to agencies, it's a bit more difficult. I don't really see it's a mindset. Yes, you might be able to charge 2 or 3 cents more, but not the rates that you can charge direct clients. Is that right?
No, yeah, that is correct, of course. And you're also right in that it is more difficult to raise your rates with agencies. That's true, of course. But if you are not happy with the rate that you're currently charging your agencies, then find other agencies, because there are agencies who pay 14, 15, 16 cents a word.
But not more, not the rates that you can charge direct clients. Or
no, that's true,
okay.
of course.
There is a frame there that you have to follow. So,
yes, but then, sorry, if I just may, what I wanted to say is if you work with an agency and you are able to charge a rate that is considered high for an agency, I think that's still fair, because with a direct client, it's not just about the money. So what goes into the rate is also the time that you spend on marketing, because you will spend a lot more time finding the client, keeping the client, explaining things to them that an agency will already know. And you probably also need to pay for someone who edits or proofreads your work. If you work with a direct client, at least that's what I would recommend.
I totally agree with that. I'm not comparing direct to agencies. They're totally two different things. I'm just like mentioning the concerns of my mentees regarding when they would like to charge and how to calculate the rates. For example, when it comes to agencies, it's a bit restricted to what they can do. It's about, there's a frame of the higher rate or the lower rate, and you have to charge between among these rates. So when it comes to direct clients, yes, totally what you described, the whole procedure, then this applies, yes, to direct clients. But also I know a lot of colleagues that they do not work with direct clients and they wouldn't like to work. I know some others that they only work with agencies, but they would like to get into direct clients market. And I also know, like you said you work only with direct clients. So
no, mostly.
Mostly, me too.
I do have some agency clients. So
so how to set your rates and what to charge also depends on the client that you're addressing your services. So is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Of course. Yes. Yeah.
And
yes, and I suppose it also depends on how much marketing you would like to do, like how much time you would like to spend on marketing, educating your client and all of that. So I know there's translators who simply don't want to do that, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, of course. And they also, they do not want not only to negotiate rates and to make different agreements and POs and coming back and forth with direct clients, or maybe market themselves to direct clients, but also taking the responsibility of what they delivering to direct clients. Yeah. It's a whole different aspect. So how do I cope with long payment cycles? It's also a very common question that you get from people. Is that right?
Yeah, true. So the long payment cycles, that I guess it also there again depends on whether you work mostly with agencies or with direct clients, because you can set your own payment terms. And I know, again, if you work with big agencies, you're probably restricted, because the reality is that usually we then go along with their payment terms and their payment cycles. But with direct clients, you do have room to negotiate your payment terms, and you can negotiate payment in advance, or you can negotiate payment within 10 days or 15 days, and not 45, 60 like with some agencies. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, pay yourself a salary. So you pay yourself the same amount every single month from your business account to your personal account, and that way you are not tempted to spend more when the month was great, and then you struggle 3 months later, but you actually have some money saved up in your business account, and you can then just transfer it, and that way you have the same salary every month.
Yeah, it's very clever what you mentioned, but for me it needs a lot of discipline when you are a one-man show or a one-woman show.
You get used to that.
When you have a family, yes, you might be able to become more disciplined if you want or not.
Oh, you have to be. Oh, don't ask.
Regarding long payment cycles, I never have 60 days, for example. I know some agencies, they do so, but I don't really accept. I have a maximum to 30 days, sometimes make an exception to 45 days, but not more than that. Because I've seen from my experience that the 60 days might end up to be 3 months, 4 months later, depending on when I invoice.
Yeah, that's also an issue then.
Because sometimes we do not invoice the day we deliver, but we invoice the end of the month, for example. So the end of the month, if we have delivered at the beginning of the month, ends up to be 4 months, for example, to get paid for a project that we have done like 3 months ago. So doesn't really work well.
No.
But what to do when you work with agencies? Do you negotiate such things with agencies? Have you seen any positive results when you negotiate? Because I think that's a very, they never negotiate this, the agencies that I have
Okay.
discussed with.
It depends. So I do have one client who has where I accepted their payment terms, and they are 30 days from the end of the month,
Okay.
plus then 10 days for their payment circle. So in reality, it is between 40 and 45 days,
Okay.
plus the time that I wait until I invoice at the end of the month. But I actually prefer doing that anyway. So I do have one fixed month where I send out my fixed day, I mean, where I send out my invoices at the end of the month. And again, that helps with cash flow, I think, because you then know exactly when the money is coming in or should be coming in. And there was something, now I lost my train of thought.
But do you accept ever the 60 days, for example? And what do you do when someone says that they have this specific term in their agreement?
So I did at the beginning. I had, that was an agency client based in France, I think, who had 60 days payment terms. And yeah, I went along with that at the beginning because I, wanted to do more work. And that was one of the agencies that sent me projects. And so I worked with them for a while. And then once I had enough work, I then looked at the clients that I thought I should keep and those that I should replace. And those were, because of the payment terms and also because of the price, I decided no longer to work with them and replace them with other work. So that's something that you can work towards. But then I know there are some agencies, I guess not the huge ones, but the sort of smaller ones, they do negotiate their terms. So I have some who pay after 15 days, for example.
15, okay, never mind, it's not an agency, of course. But
then in Germany, it's quite normal for, sorry,
please.
No, I was just going to say, I think in Germany, it's fairly normal, at least from my experience, that companies and also agencies pay after 15 days. If you ask them to,
Germany,
otherwise it's 30.
We can say to people, go work with agencies in Germany. Yeah. What is the main drawback with long payment cycles? Okay, I understand the matter of having cash flow. Okay, but
yes,
any other drawback you see with long payment cycles?
I think, like you said, the cash flow issue is probably the first one. And also the other thing you mentioned, if clients then also pay late on top of their payment terms, that creates a huge problem. So I think cash flow would be the biggest drawback there. I am trying to think whether there is anything else. I mean, essentially, if you give payment terms, you have to know that you're granting your client credit, because they use your translation and essentially you gave them the money and they haven't paid you yet, that you provided something of value, and it's like you're giving them credit, and just be aware of that.
You work as an agency as well. What's the main payment cycle, for example, that you find like it's fair enough for your team?
30 days. So the translators,
30 days. Okay, from the invoice date.
Yeah.
Okay, so my experience as well is 30 to 45 days with agencies, but when it comes to their clients, I ask them for a prepayment in order to start the project, and I ask for the full payment of the project by the date, the day of delivery that's set on our PO purchase order, for example. Most of the times it's something that I really get, like when I deliver the next day I get paid. Sometimes it takes them to 1 week to 10 days, but I think it's okay. This is the main gain when you work with direct clients, that you can set your own terms, cooperation, not only the rates, but also the terms that you want to work with them and to educate them towards that. It's not easy as it seems, It's not easy, it's difficult,
No.
but it always depends on what you want to put your efforts on. Like if you would prefer to stay and receive projects from agencies rather than to get the hassle of marketing yourselves and educating the end client, for example.
Yeah, and it can be a hassle, like you said. Yeah.
And one last question, discuss why it was created and why you decided to take part. It was about you decided to take part in this financial summit. You said as
I
your
know
own.
that was my question for you.
Okay, why I did decide to take part, I will ask you, I will answer you in a bit. So any other question? I think there is also one question by Michelle in the group. Would you like us to address it now or just to answer to Michelle in writing and her comment?
Can you read out the comment?
Okay. Michelle
Oh, it was the rather long one at the top, right? Yes, go on.
Okay, it's one question, so we got in, it's a bit long, by Michelle Ward. It's in a mentoring group event. I have been using one umbrella organization for all of my translation work and one company for my proofreading work. So as to build up my confidence, skills and reputation before approaching other organization companies. However, I have now been advised by a fellow freelancer that if I work solely or mostly for one organization company, then this could deem to be an employee of that organization company and alter my status to employed rather than self-employed with its tax and financial implications, IR 35 she mentions. Has anyone else come across this before? So if this is something that we can answer later, but yes, also it happens here in Greece, this, if you have only one employer, or if you receive money from one or to three, I think maximum per year, that has to be annual, then you considered in the tax aspect and where you fill in your declaration form, for example, as an employee, so you get tax your tax status is as an employee rather than as a self-employed if you get paid only by one or three, I think, employers. Is that something that happens in Germany as well?
So I'm not sure about the tax side of things. The issue here mostly is that so agencies will actually ask you to sign something to say that you do have other clients, because it's true that if you only work for them, like if they are your only client, then you are considered their employee, and you could actually then go to court and say, I haven't received a salary from them, and they should be paying for all my social contributions, like all my pension contributions, my health insurance and everything else, because we have the part that the employee pays and then the part that the employer pays for those social contributions. And as a freelancer, you pay all of it because you're your own employer, if you like. And so if you go to court and say, I should be their employee, that really creates an issue for the agency. And so they usually protect themselves against that from the get-go.
I don't think she refers to agencies because she mentioned something organization or something, so
or just companies client. In general also.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend someone to go to the courts for such a reason, because it doesn't seem to work in the long term by not having good relationships with the people that you work with.
Of course, no. Yeah, that's why I said I think that's the issue here when it comes to that, because companies don't want to take the risk that they have to then pay a full year of social contributions for someone.
Yeah, and also Michelle is based in the UK, I think Ireland, so I always suggest my mentees to go to an accountant there or a specialist, accounting specialist.
I think so, yes.
That's because they differ from a country to country, I guess, because the legislation is different. But in any case, it's something that I have heard about. It's something that also applies here in Greece as well, but maybe in a different aspects of Ireland or Germany, for example. So is this something that you would like to add?
Yes, I would just like to say if Michelle can contact an association there, like the ITI or something, or the IOL, then I think they should be able to, if not help her, then at least point her in the right direction, or an accountant or something.
Refer her to the right person, maybe. Yeah. And do you have what is the biggest challenge when it comes to your finances, as your personal situation, and the biggest money hurdle that you have in order to?
My own.
Yeah.
This is off script, Virginia. That's fine. My biggest money hurdle. I think my biggest money hurdle is probably still my mindset. So I took a lot of inspiration actually from some of the sessions of the summit, and I think there is still a lot more possible than what I see right now. And like I said, at the moment I'm the sole breadwinner, and that obviously comes with challenges. And so I think that's my biggest hurdle right now.
Okay, and my question, your question to me was why I decided to take part. Well, yes. That was a question to me. Mm-hmm. Of course, why I decided to take part, because I really like to participate in such initiatives that they're free for people. Mm-hmm. And they have as an intention to inspire other colleagues. I had also a part that I could contribute, like the goal setting, for example, because I really think it's very important. We might neglect it somehow, but for me, when it comes to work with MNT, for example, or just to give an advice, or even when it comes to my business, translation business problems, the thing is that when you do not have a specific goal to achieve, there's no reason of working towards where, if you do not know where you want to go. But also this in comparison with what you said before, that you have to know where you stand, like you have to know your numbers and you have to know where you want to go. I think this is the two things that you have to know very well in order either to get help by a professional or to see the results and the goals that you want to be achieved. And I also I think I have used it in our session as well, the example of Google Maps. If you just know where you want to go, but you do not point where you are now, no one can help you. Even if you know exactly where you want to go, but you do not know where you stand right now, even Google Maps cannot show you the directions because they do not know where to start from. So yes, I think that's the best advice that you gave already, and you mentioned many times that you have to know your numbers, you have to know where you are. And the second very important thing is you have to set your goals, as we discussed in our session, the financial goals, in order someone to help you or for you to work towards where you want to go and to see the results that you want to achieve. Yeah. And for me, I think even if you are a newbie or even more experienced translator, as you said about the mindset, there are things that we can work towards our goals or we can do better. I think for me, it also helps me. And I really wait to watch other colleagues' sessions as well, because I really want to get motivated, because somehow you see things that you haven't achieved yet or you haven't thought that you could achieve, so you could set as a goal. And maybe I also receive from other people that I'm satisfied where I'm right now. Why to get motivated to change things? What do you answer to them? That's the biggest challenge.
Well, congratulations. I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah, but sometimes it gets better, like maybe they are happy with their numbers or they are happy with the number of clients, but when it comes like for life work balance, they could find better paying clients, or they could find like their finance could get better and they could get like life balance better that way. There are things that, of course, there are things that we have, that we can work better in our lives and in professional level or in personal level to make a bit every day a bit better our lives and our professional lives. So that was my idea of why I would like to be part of that. And also I'm looking forward to watching it next week. Yes. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to meet you in Nuremberg. I think
yes,
meet there as well. The conference. If anyone is going to be at Elia together in Milan, I'm also going to be there with Martina Eco. And so the summit is going to take place next week, online, totally free. Great bonuses for those who want to upgrade to the pro package. And let us know if you have any questions. Comment below this video in the group. Moira is member of the group. She's going to sit and answer it, and also myself as well. And maybe next time we won't have any technical problems and we can have a live event with Moira. I would really love to do so in the future if Moira is into that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you so much once again. Would you like to add something, or?
I would just like to say thank you very much for having me, and I'm glad that we got to do this recording now instead of the live session at least.
So much information again, and for free for people to watch it and get inspired. And please comment below if you have any questions for Moira or me, or the translation business, or the finances of the translators, of the translator in general. So bye bye for now, and see you in the group.
Okay, bye.